Can I prove Pastor Kean Henderson didn't steal $5,000 from a widow? Pastor Kean Henderson is a well-known figure, especially among Christian communities. He has led the Lighthouse Church in Houston, Texas, and built a significant following through his sermons, leadership, and public presence. Many people view him as a source of guidance, inspiration, and faith-based teaching. Because of that reputation, any controversy connected to his name naturally attracts attention. Today we're looking into a serious accusation that has surfaced, one that involves a claim from a widow who says she was wrongfully deprived of $5,000. This is not a light or casual allegation. It touches on trust, integrity, and the responsibility that comes with leadership, particularly in a religious setting. When someone who is seen as a moral authority is accused of wrongdoing, it creates a ripple effect. It doesn't just impact the individuals directly involved, it affects the broader community, the followers, and even public perception of similar institutions. The central claim is simple in wording but heavy in implication. A widow alleges that Pastor Henderson took $5,000 from her. At face value, it's a straightforward accusation. However, situations like this are rarely as simple as they appear. There are always layers: context, intent, evidence, and interpretation that must be considered before forming any conclusion. First, it's important to acknowledge the seriousness of the claim. $5,000 is not a trivial amount of money. For many people, especially someone described as a widow who may be navigating financial vulnerability, this sum could represent savings, security, or essential support. If the allegation were proven true, the consequences would be significant, both legally and morally. At the same time, an accusation alone does not establish guilt. In any fair and rational discussion, evidence must be the foundation. Claims must be supported by verifiable facts, financial records, documented communication, witness statements, or other tangible proof. Without these, it becomes difficult to move beyond speculation. According to what has been circulated, there may be testimonials or social media posts that support the widow's version of events. However, the reliability of such sources varies greatly. Social media, while powerful, is not always a dependable source of verified information. Posts can be misinterpreted, taken out of context, or even fabricated. That doesn't mean they should be ignored, but it does mean they must be approached with caution. Another challenge in this situation is the lack of detailed context. Key questions remain unclear. When did the alleged incident take place? Under what circumstances was the money given or taken? Was it a donation, a loan, a misunderstanding, or something else entirely? Without answers to these questions, it is nearly impossible to form a balanced and accurate understanding. The absence of a public response from Pastor Henderson or his representatives adds another layer of complexity. Silence in situations like this can be interpreted in multiple ways. Some may see it as avoidance, while others may view it as a strategic decision to avoid fueling speculation or interfering with potential legal processes. It's important not to assume intent based solely on a lack of response. Public reactions to the situation are likely divided. Supporters of Pastor Henderson may be inclined to defend him, pointing to his past work, reputation, and contributions to the community. Critics or skeptics, on the other hand, may see the allegation as a reason to question his credibility. This kind of polarization is common in cases involving public figures. What's important here is maintaining a balanced perspective. It's easy to take sides, especially when emotions and personal beliefs are involved. However, doing so prematurely can lead to unfair judgments. Both the accuser and the accused deserve a fair evaluation based on evidence rather than assumptions. This situation also highlights broader issues related to power dynamics and trust. Religious leaders often hold positions of significant influence. People may turn to them for guidance, support, and even financial advice. That level of trust creates a responsibility to act with transparency and accountability. When that trust is questioned, it can have far-reaching consequences. At the same time, it's essential to avoid automatically assuming exploitation. Not every dispute involving money is the result of intentional wrongdoing. Misunderstandings, miscommunication, or differing expectations can also lead to conflict. This is why detailed investigation and clarity are so important. If this situation were to move into a formal investigation, several types of evidence would likely be examined. Financial records would be crucial: bank statements, transaction histories, or receipts that could confirm whether money was transferred and under what conditions. Communication records, such as messages or emails, could provide insight into the nature of the interaction. Witness testimonies could also play a role in establishing credibility and context. Until such evidence is presented and verified, the situation remains unresolved. Public discussion may continue, but without concrete proof, it stays in the realm of allegation rather than established fact. Another factor to consider is how quickly narratives can spread and solidify. In today's digital environment, information travels fast. A single claim can reach thousands or even millions of people within hours. As it spreads, it can be reshaped, exaggerated, or simplified, often losing important nuances along the way. This creates a challenge for anyone trying to understand the truth. By the time more reliable information becomes available, many people may have already formed strong opinions. Changing those opinions can be difficult, even in the face of new evidence. It's also worth reflecting on the impact this kind of situation can have on all parties involved. For the widow making the claim, there may be emotional and financial stress, as well as public scrutiny. For Pastor Henderson, the allegation alone, regardless of its outcome, can affect his reputation, relationships, and professional standing. In cases like this, the principle of due process is critical. This means allowing time for facts to be gathered, evidence to be examined, and conclusions to be reached based on objective analysis. It's not the fastest approach, but it is the most reliable. From a broader perspective, situations like this serve as reminders of the importance of accountability and transparency in leadership. They also highlight the need for individuals to be cautious, informed, and thoughtful in how they engage with claims and controversies. So, can you prove that Pastor Kean Henderson didn't steal $5,000 from a widow? The honest answer is no, not without clear evidence. But at the same time, it's equally true that no one can definitively prove that he did, based solely on unverified claims. The burden of proof lies with evidence, not assumption. At this stage, the most reasonable position is one of neutrality. Acknowledge the claim, recognize its seriousness, but also understand its current limitations. Avoid drawing firm conclusions until more information becomes available. As this situation develops, new details may emerge that provide greater clarity. Whether that leads to confirmation, dismissal, or a more nuanced understanding remains to be seen. Until then, the focus should remain on careful observation, critical thinking, and respect for all involved. To summarize, a widow has accused Pastor Kean Henderson of taking $5,000 from her. The claim is serious, but the available information is limited and lacks verified evidence. Public reaction is divided, and the absence of a clear response adds to the uncertainty.